Are you ready?
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. Don't wake up from this wrestle dream. It is not a nightmare, I swear. It is October the 16th, 2025. The gang is back. Finally.
Been a minute.
Some wild things have happened, like life.
Yeah. I'm
maybe
just as guilty as anybody else. Like we're all busy parties in this.
All right, Joey Porter Jr. just got away with the most egregious pass interference call I've ever seen in my life.
It was one. It was one for sure.
We are recording the show currently while Thursday Night Football is going on. Anyone that knows that I am a Bengals fan. So if you see me looking to the left a lot as you're watching on any of our streaming platforms, you'll see my TV's that way. It was a couple crazy weeks. Myself and Joe went to the 6th anniversary of Dynamite down in Hollywood, Florida, which may have led to Andrade not being allowed to wrestle for the next 360-ish days. So
wait. I'm curious now. Did we actually see Andrade, or was that Mandela affected out of existence?
Tony Khan will say no, I'm sure, but
okay.
You saw Andrade.
Oh, it's the argument like when Vanilla Ice didn't rip off We Are the Champions. Correct. Or whatever. We Will Rock You.
Correct.
Dun 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 dun. That's.
I will also say, he could also just say that we saw like a different luchador's name, because that's what he did literally in that same segment when that the toxic red light came on and like El Clon came out and they were like, that's not what's his name?
Hologram?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's not hologram, but he's wearing a hologram mask. So he could do the same thing. Like, that's not Andrade, that's Phoenix.
I like that gimmick better when it was Suicide in TNA.
No, actually,
I mean, just to jump in, like, I did see somebody point out like a great point, because obviously the Andrade thing has been the hot button for the last few hours on wrestling social media, and of course, everybody WWE bad, but like Andrade intentionally like violated his WWE contract to get out of it, and then didn't have his legal team or AEW's legal team check the fine print of his contract to make sure he was clear. Like, let's just be 100 about it. And we're talking about a wrestling company that is owned by people that own multiple sports teams across multiple sports leagues. Across
multiple countries.
Correct. Like, the fact that this, because you can say whatever you want about, they put it in the, like, WWE's bad. A lot of companies put no non-competes in contracts.
Yeah, go get a job in tech and be a part of a tech team. I guarantee you'll have at least a 6-month no compete where you can't go compete with a competitor and potentially take confidential information to people.
Prior to the job I currently have in the pandemic, my former job had a non-compete. Like,
goddamn science.
Like, yeah, dude, like everybody has it. And then somebody else brought up a great point I saw on the on a Twitter.
You know what's wild? I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know what's wild? When I first moved down here to Florida, one of my first jobs was, y'all will remember this, at Orange Theory. I was selling memberships like a motherfucker. They had a non-compete clause. It said it in my contract. If you leave this job, you can't go work for another gym for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Not that I would have anyway, but like they had a non-complete clause. Like I butchered that. A non-compete clause. There you go.
Right, like it prevents like talent poaching and stuff like that, and depending on what industry you work in, it prevents people from being able to like take confidential or like specific information and going to another company and using that against them. Like it just is what it is. Because like like another gym, like a Planet Fitness could have been like, wow, this Orange Theory place is getting a ton of business. And this Joe guy seems to be doing really well. Let me go grab him to bring him in here and get our memberships up. Like that's why these things exist. Like
I will say Bonefish has no non-compete. So if any restaurants out there are trying to get our secrets, I do know the recipe to Bang Bang Shrimp. And
I was gonna say, can you just DM me that
I
recipe?
could. I actually quite literally could.
That I would just love to know. But don't get me wrong, I still love Bonefish. Like we got like the family
the bundle. Yeah. Okay.
And dude, that was one of the best deals in like takeout food we've gotten in a long time. So
that's a good one.
Kudos to you guys for doing that.
So back to because this is being portrayed as sport to everyone. Major League Baseball has a 5-day period where people that are going to be free agents have exclusivity with the team that they were playing on. Mm-hmm. So if you are a member of the New York Yankees, the Mets can't call you until that 6th day. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think NHL has that as well.
So at this point, what you're telling me is a multi-billion-dollar organization put a no-compete clause to stop someone who purposely did things to get himself out of his contract. And then on top of it, the company that wants to sign him, that is also a multi-billion-dollar organization, did not do their due diligence.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, cool. So at what point do we stop blaming WWE for or TKO? Excuse me.
People don't.
And the problem is, and I know we were going to probably get into this a little bit further in the show, but we're getting rid of people that were on WWEID, and one of them being Kylie Ray, and then letting Ridge Holland's contract expire. And then you're like, but they add injury time to people that they want, or people that they want to stall from going to somewhere else. Welcome to the world of business.
Case in point, there was a follow-up tweet to that one that I read. It said there's also wanting people to take the moral high ground over a 1-year no-compete for a breach when AEW and Tony Khan tacked on a year of injury time to Ray Phoenix's contract just as it was about to expire because they knew he wanted to sign to WWE. So, like, here's the thing. You want to be mad at WWE? Fine. Be mad at AEW for the same things. Like, again, if whether or not AEW has better health or personnel or whatever dealings for their wrestlers, they might. I don't know. I've never seen anybody's actual contract. It could be pure internet subjection or whatever. But Shad Khan and Tony Khan are billionaires. If there's one thing that I've basically kind of learned in my life, nobody gets to be a billionaire in business by being 100% morally clean and not cutting corners and not doing slimy things. Like if somebody wins like a $1 billion fucking lottery, like they may be a scumbag, but they didn't get the $1 billion by being a scumbag. Like, and I'm not saying like Tony and Shad Khan are quote unquote scumbags. What I am saying is they're business people. Business is dirty. They literally probably talked Andrade into violating his WWE contract so that WWE would release him because then they knew they could get him over in AEW real quick. The problem is, again, Everybody thought this is going to be a great moment on the 6th anniversary of Dynamite, and we're going to set up a program with Kenny Omega, and nobody, and this is still the most mind-blowing part about it. Nobody did their jobs. Nobody did their jobs. And it's the same thing like when a baseball player or a football player or a hockey player gets suspended for violating the freaking PED or whatever, like the substance abuse thing. Because literally it is if you were putting something in your body, it is your job between you and your fucking doctors and the team doctors and all that to make sure the stuff you're putting in your body is legal per the sport you do. It is. And everyone wants to think Tony Khan, he's a bad businessman, whatever. Tony Khan might be a bad businessman, but at the main point of it as well, it's Andrade's duty. It's his job to make sure that when he himself is leaving one deal, going into a new one, that he's not doing anything wrong, whether that's calling his lawyers, whether it's making sure his lawyers talk to AEW's lawyers. I don't know where the breakdown was, but at least 1, 2, 3, or multiple people didn't do their job. So do I want to see Andrade not wrestle for a year? No. But if that's what it ends up coming down to, AEW and Andrade have nobody to blame but themselves. He signed a contract with WWE and TKO. It had terms in that contract. And when you sign that contract, remember when Chelsea Green didn't have the rights to her own name? Yeah. When you sign a contract, that means you agree to the terms of that contract. Plain and simple. Like every time I update my phone, I have to agree to Apple's terms and conditions. I don't read them. But here's the deal. If at some point they come to collect on something I agreed to, that's on me because I didn't know what I agreed to, but I agreed to it.
Correct.
Andrade agreed to this deal with the clause that he violated. Fuck around and find out, bro.
Yeah, and to be fair, do I think he'll be out for as long as they're saying? No, I think that this is a scare tactic. I think this is now we can ask for an indefinite, that he can't be there until there's something that they need or that they want or that could be of beneficial to them. You guys want Andrade? Sure. Let Chris Jericho out of his contract today with no compete clause so that if he wants to be John Cena's opponent on December 13th, you could do it. This is where you get two billionaire companies together and you guys have a negotiation.
They work out the details, yeah. I will say, though, and here's the angle. Here's an angle that I haven't seen anybody talk about this from, so I feel like it could be interesting for us to talk about. Does this make Andrade's return to AEW more interesting than it was this time last Wednesday? Because at the end of the day, obviously it was cool to see him return. It was cool to see him return in the ring. It was a surprise. I certainly didn't expect it. I know you didn't expect it. We were all standing there like, oh, that's the thing that's happening. And now he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone for some period of time, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, who knows. Is it going to be more exciting when he comes back now? Does AEW have a chance now to be like, look, they didn't want you to be able to see this guy wrestle, and we've got him. Like they can turn this into something where it's not just, oh, okay, great, he's going to feud Kenny and then lost in the shuffle of the Dunkhouse family. Now they can, again, it was so unexpected, his return, that, yeah, it was a cool moment. But I don't know that anybody in the wrestling world was talking about Andrade as one of the top 5 stories after his return for the rest of that week. Now he's back out there as a headline. Now you're talking about him again. Now maybe they keep the narrative going and they build up his debut. I mean, look, one of the coolest parts about Sting in 1997 was that he didn't wrestle for a year. And obviously, I don't think they can have Andrade dropping out of the rafters every week or anything like that. If he's not allowed on TV, he's not allowed on TV. But he could be out there doing his own self promotion. He could be out there building his own. Like, they don't want me here. Honestly, I have him outside the building. No cameras around. Just every time you go to an AEW show, fucking Andrade is just outside with some sign that says Charlotte sucks and not well. You know, like, let's have him do the old school DX thing. You know, like, let's have him be there and get his name out there without officially being there. That's what I would do. I think they have a chance to make his AEW return an even bigger deal now. What do you guys think?
Agree. I agree, and you got a little robotic there, so we made it. We did our best to work through it, but I think I get what you're asking. But yeah, no, I think there is an opportunity, to generate buzz, by him not being allowed to be on TV. It's the things that I thought WWE failed to do, and now we've since learned, because it pretty much seemed like they just had no interest on re-signing them, with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Like when it was like the We Want Kross stuff, somebody had the idea of like, look, they should have Kross and Scarlett outside the building with signs and working up the fans and stuff like that every single day when there's a TV show, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all of it. They should be out there in front of the people outside the buildings. So AEW has a tremendous opportunity. As long as they don't put them on their TV, like, you know what I mean? Then they're not violating anything. Like, at least as far as I understand. Like, if he just, if AEW is not paying him to show up and be a part of their company and actively work for them, then by all means, like, be there, show up, and generate social media buzz, so that. And again, I end up thinking that there will be some form of a settlement that it ends up just becoming a 6-month non-compete, and then he can return, or something like that.
I don't even think it's that long.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something. They'll figure something out. Legal peoples will do legal things. But yeah, I think that while he is not able to perform, then they will do enough, and they I think it would be cool if they do things to generate buzz around it. So if I'm AEW, I'm not letting people know how many days or how many months it is on his non-compete. Let the wrestling journalists, quote unquote, speculate on that. But if I'm AEW, that, like, I'm not letting anybody find out, so that he continues to show up and he's outside the buildings. But once he finally comes in the building, it's a surprise, and it's a big deal. Because there is a neat opportunity here but we'll see if they can capitalize on it.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, I seen that.
So with the Andrade thing, his decision, I think, also has ramification on something else, and that was the fact that Kenny Omega does not have a match on Wrestle Dream this weekend now, because I think we were going to get round one of this being Andrade versus Omega in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So now we get some other match that's going to happen on this show. There's got to be something, though, when this is all said and done and it all shakes out a certain way. Like, WWE is going to get their blame for certain things, and 99.8% of the time it's probably just. But I think this is the one where if people on the internet are going to keep with well, they should have just let him walk. You obviously do not do business.
Right.
You obviously are a 9-to-5 person who has not sat in a conference room fighting for your life for something, because you don't just let people walk out and go, oh, sure, go wherever the hell you want now. You don't work for us. Like, it don't work that way, Scoot. Never has. So I have my own frustrations in that regard, but the Andrade story notwithstanding, since we've been here, a lot of other things have occurred. WWE ID has moved on from some people. They announced the ending of the Ridge Holland experience. Smell you later.
Yeah.
And one that I guess, since we've been talking about AEW, we were talking about the Don Callis family. I guess let me ask you guys this: Konosuke Takeshita, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, good or bad for all Elite Wrestling?
Doesn't register for AEW in my mind.
In what
Because
regard?
because at the end of the day, okay, it looks good that he's won the IWGP title, obviously, and any fans that follow AEW that also follow New Japan, yeah, that's an exciting thing. They're going to be like, oh man, it's the IWGP World Champion. That's cool. Not every AEW fan follows New Japan. And for the segment of the audience that does not follow New Japan, Takeshita is just carrying around another title. I mean, it might as well be one of the 16 titles that Mercedes carries around that I don't know what the fuck they are. I don't know if you do. I don't know what the fuck they are. But, so I kind of feel like it's that. And the thing is, it's not like AEW is going to make a huge deal out of the IWGP World title. It's not like they're going to have it main eventing any shows. It's not like it's going to ever be defended probably on AEW TV.
I think you're wholeheartedly wrong there.
I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. If they actually bring in a way to say, hey, look, this is an important title. Hey, look, all these people have held this belt. You should pay attention to the fact that our guy is the champion here and all that. I think that'd be really cool. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they've ever done that. Even when they introduced the ROH titles and stuff, I think they made it seem like, okay, these are just some more belts that happen to be around some of our guys' waists. They've never made anything super duper extra important, and I don't think they're going to do that with the IWGP World Title right now either. In terms of New Japan, I'm torn on Takeshita as the champion. On the one hand, I think it's awesome, and if he were a New Japan talent first and foremost, I'd be all for it. Strap the rocket ship to this guy. He's your champion. Make it happen. Give him whatever he wants. Make this guy the face of your company. But he's not. He's not a New Japan guy. He's an AEW guy. We don't even know if he's going to go back over there and defend the title more than once. We don't know that he's going to do anything other than maybe show up at Wrestle Kingdom and lose the belt to somebody. And I think that's unfortunate. I think for the sake of New Japan, which, let's face it, New Japan today, even in the eyes of wrestling fans, even in the eyes of the purist fans, isn't what it was 10 years ago. Isn't what it was 6 years ago, quite frankly. And for that reason, if I'm New Japan, I don't know that I'm putting the belt on someone who basically, for all intents and purposes, is a foreigner. Is someone who I'm not going to have on my regular touring schedule, who I'm not going to have access to all the time. In a way, it makes sense. New Japan, now their title is going to be out there on Dynamite every week, and it's part of a bigger company, and it's going to have more eyes on it. That's all fine and dandy. But if they never do anything with it on AEW TV, and then nothing really happens in New Japan with it either, is it all for naught? I kind of feel like it is. So, cool moment that he won the belt. Unless I get him defending it against Okada at an AEW pay-per-view, or, I get something else. I just feel like it's a cool moment that I'd be so much more behind if he was part of New Japan and not part of AEW.
Oh, you're 100% getting Konosuke Takeshita versus Okada. Okada is turning on Takeshita on Sunday or Saturday at Wrestle Dream. That is 1,000%.
That's a match. Yeah, no, that's a match that's going to happen. Is it going to be for the IWGP World Title? I don't know.
1,000%. And I think that then you get the rematch of Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. I don't think that this is just a till Wrestle Kingdom run for Konosuke Takeshita, because here's the deal. what the hell were they doing with him before he went and was in G1? He was the lackey of the Don Callis family. Sure, they took him serious, but he was playing second fiddle to Okada. He became 2B to Kyle Fletcher's TNT title win. He wasn't doing anything. So what do? You bring him back. You have him defend against former champions like Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada. Give Zack Sabre Jr. his rematch inside of a AEW ring. Eddie Kingston, former never open weight champion. Give him a match against Takeshita. And then you send him back there in the middle of next year or some point, potentially with the fun stuff with the G1 again. You put him back in the G1 and you go that route, because I think that's an option for it. The reality of the situation is, if he drops it at Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not surprised. But here's the other issue that with New Japan. They've put themselves into a predicament where they have too many titles. You have the never open weight. You have the TV championship. You have their intercontinental bullshit. Like, you have 7 singles titles for the men now, basically. You have a women's title. You have all the titles from Stardom that you can put on shows. Their tour right now is the best of the Super Junior Tag League. You don't need the world champion for the next month.
Right.
At the end of the day, you've booked it where if Takeshita does not defend the title in a New Japan ring prior to Wrestle Kingdom, it's not a bad thing. Because now you have a multi-billion-dollar organization that is going to push Konosuke Takeshita, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, versus insert name here, that weekend that they're a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, I don't, and maybe it's because, and I talked about this on like 3CT. We talked about like how, like, where our like scale of 1 to 10, like where our love of wrestling is at the moment. And like, I was doing the math, like I watched WrestlePalooza, but besides that, like, I don't know the last time I watched Raw. I watched NXT, I watched Dynamite, I watched SmackDown. Like, I'm not, it's not as active of a thing for me. So like, when I saw Takeshita won the IWGP title, I was like, all right. Like, until I'm proven otherwise, unfortunately, it's this kind of a situation where I'm like, oh, so it's more of the thing that we've seen before.
And you're also not a New Japan guy anyway.
Well, true, but like, here's the deal: like, if Omos, or if hell, even somebody bigger, if AJ Styles had showed up in IWGP or in New Japan and won that title, that to me is like, it shakes the foundation of what we know, even in a world where like the WWE acknowledges wrestling outside of itself. Like, one of their superstars winning another company's world titles seems shocking. Like, we saw Jon Moxley, you know, we've seen Okada, we've seen guys like with then the IWGP US title and the world title, it's in the women's title and the strong title and this title. And there comes a point where, like, if everybody has a title, it doesn't matter that somebody has a title. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Ring of Honor or AEW,
Correct,
or Beyond Pro, or Billy Bob's Wrestling, or New Japan IWGP title. Like, there comes a point where like it just doesn't matter a whole lot. So until they find a way to make it matter, to me it didn't do nothing. It didn't make me tune in last night when I was home on a Wednesday, right? Like, it just didn't.
Glad you didn't, because he wasn't on the show anyways.
Well, like Andrade, I guess.
You know, so like, talking about the since WrestlePalooza and all of that, I haven't watched much either. I watched the John Cena AJ Styles match from Crown Jewel.
I do need to
watch match of the year.
I watched the women's Crown Jewel title match. I did not watch the men's. I've seen the spot where supposedly Seth Rollins was injured. I watched the last 25 minutes of Raw because it was an 8 a.m. start time. And I was getting ready to take my afternoon nap because I had to work Monday night. I had just gotten back from taking Jackson. I ate my breakfast. I went to lay down, and they were like, main event, triple threat match for the #1 contender. I was like, oh shit, Raw's on because they're in Australia. Let me turn it on. So I got in the bed. I turned on the main event, started watching it, saw the turn, was like, oh shit, this is wild. And the only other real wrestling I've been watching, because I work Mondays, I work Wednesdays, was the 6th anniversary of Dynamite that me and Joe went to. I am off on Fridays, but a lot of the time that's me going out with Carol, the kids, my mom, etc. So
Sure.
And it is what it is in that regard. I mean, obviously I follow it. I follow enough of it to know what's going on, reading results, keeping track of our fantasy wrestling stuff. So I obviously know who's winning matches and stuff like that. But goddamn, like, if there is the definition of mid in professional wrestling, I think it's the last like month and a half.
Right. Yeah.
It's just kind of been there. It's there when you want to watch it. It's good. It could be better. It could be a lot worse. You know, it's there. It's kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Joe Burrow's hurt. They're going out there and playing football. They're just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I think the issue is, and just occurring to me right at this moment. I got to get going in a minute or two, but let me put this out there into the universe.
Sure.
Wrestling is most exciting when moments happen during a show. That's it. Wrestling, it's always been that way. Like, since the 90s, at least, it's been that way. Like, think about it. If you think back and you remember your favorite things in wrestling, yeah, you might remember some of your favorite matches, but you're going to go to the moments first. You're going to, when Steve Austin, came out with the beer truck, or you're going to, when AJ Styles debuted. Like, I don't remember necessarily off the top of my head who won the Rumble the year he debuted, but I remember he debuted at the Rumble. You know what I mean? Like moments are what wrestling is built on. The problem is, in this social media age, you don't need to watch the show to see the moments. You can go on Facebook and see that Seth Rollins got turned on by the Bronze. That's how I saw it.
Right.
You can go on, like, out of everything that I've seen in wrestling recently, and I haven't seen a lot either. I saw the AEW show that Mike and I went to because obviously we were there and I stayed awake. I saw a good amount of the WWE show, Clash in Crown Jewel, Clash in Australia. I saw a good amount of that. I haven't finished it, but I did get up to the AJ Styles and John Cena match. The only match that I can honestly say that I have told anybody, because I've told you, Jim, and I've told my brother, you need to go watch this match. Knowing your fandom, knowing who you are, knowing that you like these guys, you need to go watch that match. The only thing that I've actually gone out of my way to recommend to anybody that I've seen recently. Everything else that I can talk about that has happened is moments. You don't need to go back and watch 3 hours of Raw to see Seth Rollins get turned on. You can go on Facebook and watch the 3-minute clip and move on with your day that quickly. And that's the problem. Because WWE, at the very least, I don't know about AEW. AEW is in a different boat to a certain degree, but they're never really doing anything that interesting. So it kind of is what it is. But WWE, I think, is very well aware and has become very complacent to the fact that, hey, we don't have to care if the whole show is quality for 2.5 hours, because the big moments that we want people to tune in for, they're going to find on social media. We're going to have 3 million views on this on YouTube within 6 hours because it's a big thing that happened, or because it was a cool moment, or because, whatever. They're getting their audience in different ways now. And because of that, yeah, they can go kind of low effort on the other hour and 45 minutes of Raw. They could put together a couple of matches and it's like, okay, that's going to be an entertaining match. I'm not going to run home. I'm not going to text you guys and be like, oh my God, you got to see that 6-man tag with Penta and AJ Styles. Like, that's just not going to be a thing that happens unless it is like somehow an incredible 5-star match. But that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for me to text you and be like, did you see that 6-man tag? They're looking for me to text you and be like, did you see Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed beat the shit out of Seth Rollins? That's what they want, and they're
Right.
getting that. They
Yeah.
don't need the whole show to get that. They can just get the moment now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think WWE's been quote unquote accused, however you want to really think about it, but accused of that in the recent pay-per-views and this year's WrestleMania and stuff like that, where they're accused of not creating WrestleMania moments, they're creating WrestleMania social media clips.
100%.
But you know what I mean? So like, but that is just kind of the nature of right now. It's you know, WWE better than anybody does social media and YouTube perfectly. Because everything they do is up there within minutes. Everything they do is summarized there. Everything they do, you can watch the show. And that's why when people get very hung up on like SmackDown ratings and how many people watch Netflix and how many people, I'm like, also remember that clip on YouTube got 4.9 million views. Like that clip on when AJ Lee came back, like the Facebook hits on that was 220 million or something. It's something really high, obscenely high number. And I'm like, so WWE doesn't care if only 1.2 million people worldwide watched Raw on Netflix, because 40 million people saw it on social media. Like, those are ratings too. These companies are set up to get revenue on those ads and on those things. So
Bye, Joe.
yeah, like it doesn't matter. So it's the wrestling world is, I mean, it's just different than what it used to be, and it's presented in a way that's different than it used to be. Congrats on the win, Mike. I didn't tell you this before.
Suck it, QA Ron.
I didn't tell you this before, but I had placed a no sweat bet earlier today. Over 45.5. Aaron Rodgers over 200 passing yards.
Okay.
Jaylen Warren anytime touchdown scorer, which that they had one that was called back from holding, and the Steelers money line. So I was going to be upset that the Jaylen Warren called back
was going to be the only one,
was going to screw me. So I really do appreciate the Bengals going down and getting that win, for sure. But yeah,
I put in a currency exchange as well, because my baseball one blew up in my face tonight whenever Luis Castillo couldn't strike out 2 hitters before he got pulled, because that's what happens. I had Joe Flacco over 1.5 touchdown passes.
Nice.
The Bengals plus 7.5.
Okay.
I had Jaylen Warren over. Hold on, let me bring it up here. I had Jaylen Warren over 50 rushing yards and Chase Brown over 50 rushing yards. Cash the ticket, baby.
Very nice.
So we have some currency for college football tomorrow, because there is a good game tomorrow. The U is back, baby.
I don't want to say that I'm the reason the Bengals won, but usually if I bet one way, it goes the other. So
all right, do me a favor. Do me a favor the rest of the year.
Just bet money line against the Bengals every week.
$1 on whoever Pittsburgh, bet on Pittsburgh the rest of the year, because I want this to be the self implosion of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bengals don't even have to make the playoffs.
You just want to see the Steelers die. Okay.
If I'm going to have to live in a world where I just watched 41-year-old Joe Flacco 2-step drop and chuck the shit out of it to arguably the best duo in football right now at the wide receiver position, and I had to watch Aaron Rodgers throw a missile to Pat Fryermuth with 2 minutes left, potentially lose that football game.
Yeah.
I want to watch the world burn.
The wild part is in CeeDee Lamb's absence, the Lamb Pickens 1-2 has a strong case for being the best in football because Dak Prescott now knows how good George Pickens is.
Correct. Him being out was, I think,
Pickens,
largely beneficial
Pickens
for that.
come alive, man. That dude has looked every bit as good as he ever was supposed to. But
for continued talk like this, check out the Huddle Up podcast every Tuesday night on the Facebook page, Huddle Up Podcast.
On Tuesdays. So subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We have clips on the daily over there. But is there anything else from wrestling over kind of the last month that we want to touch on?
Bound for Glory. I read the results of that. I enjoyed seeing them finally putting the world title back on.
Dude, that felt like if they didn't, I mean, it sounded like it was going to be a mutiny. Like it just.
I think it would have been. I think at that point, especially because, to be fair, earlier in the night they put the international title back on Steve Maclin. If there wasn't a TNA guy more than Mike Santana,
right.
At this point, I don't know that there is. Joe Hendry's contract is up. I think he's
gone.
He's already technically in NXT. There ain't another big TNA guy. I mean, unless you're going to put it on somebody like Frankie Kazarian or something like that, who's
right. But holy crap, 85-year-old Frankie Kazarian.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if Nick Nemeth was the one to beat Trick Williams, I would have felt like we were just giving it to somebody else, WWE eccentric here.
Right.
So Mike Santana was the perfect person for them to put it on. I watched the end of the match on clips. I didn't watch the full show, but there is a match that I did check out from that show. We went back to the year 2000 and we watched the Hardys versus the Dudleys one last time. Not great, Bob. You can see that Devon hasn't been in the ring in
not great, Bob.
In a while. You could see the steps were a little bit more worrisome of like, hey, let's try to just avoid getting hurt. So it was they hit all the feel good spots. They hit a really cool 3D in the first like 5 minutes of the match. Like they hit all the bells and whistles, and then the match ended, and then that's when they hit you in the feelings. And that's when Team 3D takes their boots off, they hand them to the Hardys, they have the feel good moment, they walk out together. Like from a nostalgia point of view, fantastic. But unfortunately the bell rang. I do plan on watching Bound for Glory at some point over the next couple weeks, because I don't know if it's on TNA Plus yet or if they still have it behind the paywall, but I do have a TNA Plus membership. So the goal is to obviously check out the full show, because there were some other decent matches from what I've read, but I've also heard there's some car crashes. And what is professional wrestling without car crashes?
That's the truth. That is the truth.
But I don't know. I mean, anything else really major that's been going on? I mean, I was going to make this point earlier when Joe brought up Mercedes Moné and her 397 titles that she currently holds. She has went to the trademarking office and has trademarked Ultimo Moné.
Okay.
Because of the Ultimo Dragon, when he was Draggy 8 belts and had all the title belts in WCW. So she decided to trademark Ultimo Moné.
Okay.
Just because you have 37 titles doesn't mean you have to be cringe. Please stop.
Yep.
Sorry, that's just one where you're not going to get me on board with Ultimo Moné.
Right. Like, I have no problem with her being holding 10 belts, 15 belts, 20
Nope.
belts, because again, most of these companies, nobody even knows who they are.
She's got like 4 titles that I think people actually know
Right.
what they are. The TNT title. I'm pretty sure she's the Rev Pro Women's Champion.
I believe.
The CMLL Women's title, which she's defending tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Is she still wearing the Owen Hart Classic title? Because if so, that's probably the 4th one I know. I don't even know of anything any other company she's been in. Southside maybe over in Germany. Is she the WXW champion too? Like, I mean, hold on, now I want to look because cage match. Mercedes Monet. Because this, I just want to be like, do I even know this company?
Yeah, I don't think I really know.
All right. Mercedes 37 belt. She is the current champion for TBS.
Yep.
She is currently the Rev Pro undisputed British Women's Champion.
Yep.
She is the CMLL Women's World Champion.
Yep.
She is the EWA Women's Champion.
No.
For those of you following along, that is the European Wrestling Alliance. Oh, I'm sorry, Association.
Yeah, no. Don't know that one.
She is the DW, which is Discovery Wrestling based out of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, no.
She is the Body Slam Women's Champion. That I believe is in Germany. Oh, I'm sorry, Denmark. Yeah, those are the only 6 current titles that Cage Match has her holding, but yet she's got 36 title belts that she wears to the ring.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's silly. Like, it's one of those things where like wrestling's allowed to be silly. I think it's silly. Like, I think there's a lot of people that get like, and not you, but a lot of people that get worked up about it. Like, oh, this is so fucking stupid, and people get like mad about. Like, it's fucking silly, man. Like, it's silly. It's a cool little thing for these companies to hang their hats on. Like, hey, our former Johnny Gargano, before he went to NXT, but was, you know, a name well known on the indies, or maybe it was between like NXT hits or something, did a spot for a company in the Lancaster area near where I live, Legacy Wrestling, and they ran a bit open challenge at the to start the show. Champion comes out, open challenge. Gargano answers it, wins the title, loses it back at the end of the night. But forever, and that company hasn't existed in a couple of years, but like for as long as it existed, former Legacy, anytime Johnny Gargano did something, former Legacy champion, and they could pop the picture up, Johnny Gargano won the NXT World title. Like, so like, yeah, it's like one of those things where like just sometimes let wrestling be silly. It's okay. It's okay to let wrestling be silly. That doesn't really mean anything. Like these belts that you've never heard of and are never going to hear from again, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Nobody has to be upset about it. But yeah, otherwise, like I don't think there's a whole ton of stuff. The Andrade stuff kind of fell into our laps today.
Yeah, it really did. As I woke up and saw that.
I touched on during 3 count the Jericho Cruise.
I'm glad you waited till Joe left to say you touched on something, because that would have been real bad.
Yeah, that's probably good that he was gone. The Jericho Cruise was announced, and no AEW wrestlers are on.
What's the date of that?
Do I have the date for that?
I didn't know if it said it maybe like on the flyer or something.
I didn't have it on my thing. Let me see. Jericho Cruise. November 7th through 11th of 2026. So like at best we like, because we've heard that his contract with WWE, or excuse me, with AEW was likely ending at the end of this year. So like this at least kind of confirms that a little bit. Obviously, you know, you can always add people later, but this it fuels this the speculation that
Maybe this was one of those, if you're not with them and you would like to use some talent, we can cross that bridge in June.
Right, something like that. But no current AEW superstars are currently in the lineup for the Jericho Rock and Roller Cruiser, whatever the fuck it's called, on steroids. Do we want to talk Wrestle Dream? Do we want to preview Wrestle Dream?
I do want to bring one thing up before we get there, because I think we can speed round Wrestle Dream.
Oh, absolutely.
4 days. That's all he's got left.
Yeah.
We haven't got to talk a lot of John because we haven't been on.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get Joe's opinion on this on next week's show. But I want to get yours now because I want to kind of ebb and flow this a little bit. What are the last 4 days of John Cena, WWE in-ring performer?
The sad thing is, I don't really know, because I've been very disconnected from the product for most of this year. Sans actually tuning in when John wrestles. I do need to go back and check out the match with AJ Styles, because I was golfing Saturday morning.
Valid reason.
Yeah, absolutely valid reason. Ideally, his last match, I would love to see it be an open challenge and have it be one of two things: a returning former nemesis, i.e.
Bad News Barrett?
work out a deal to get Etch in the mix, or Jericho in the mix.
You may not have to work out that much of a deal to get Etch.
I know there's been speculation both ways. I know he did the "I'm going home, I don't know if I'll ever be back" deal.
Well, Chris Van Vliet put out something that made a lot of sense the other day. I was on the Tiki-Talk and it popped up on my feed. He originally signed around a 2-year contract.
Okay.
2 years ago. So what if the business decision is you can use Andrade tomorrow, but if he wants to come back to fight John, he doesn't have a no-compete. You can't add the injury time.
Could be. Yeah. I've seen things too. Like I saw some the other day that was like Adam Copeland expected to re-sign at AEW for whatever. So like everybody's just speculating at this point.
Especially whenever Beth just debuted.
Right. That could also be a one-day handshake deal too, for all we know. Because I don't think we've gotten a Beth Copeland is all elite graphic yet. So like I would love to be somebody like that, an Edge or a Jericho, or somebody kind of out of the blue that we don't necessarily, because I know like the heavy rumor is it's going to be Gunther. But I'd love to see it be like Jericho and Edge, Jericho or Edge, or like Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, like somebody that is more on the come up that we don't really see coming. So it's the date in DC, it's Survivor Series, and what MSG, which is an episode of Raw.
Yep, and an episode of Raw from Boston. Here's, you want me to give mine first, then you can kind of.
Sure, because I'm thinking of a couple of things here.
John Cena completes the Grand Slam in Boston. That's his fourth
Ooh,
to last day. He beats Dominic Mysterio to win the Intercontinental title. He finishes off the Grand Slam. MSG, he does the John Cena Open Challenge, like he did with the Intercontinental title, or like he did with the U.S. title.
Time out. Does the order go Boston, MSG,
Boston,
Survivor
MSG,
Series? Okay.
War Games, DC.
Okay.
So I will go, and this is where things are going to get shifty for me. He beats Dominic Mysterio. Post match, Finn Balor turns on Dominic Mysterio. Cool. John Cena does the Open Challenge on the MSG episode of Monday Night Raw. It is met by a former foe, somebody currently in the Intercontinental title picture. Let's go back to WrestleMania play button. The guy came out in a fucking tank. Rusev.
Okay.
He defeats Rusev. Post match, I've got 2 more dates. John Cena Open Challenge, San Diego, California, Survivor Series War Games. The lights turn off, the lights turn on, and guess who's standing in front of him in the ring? Former NXT World Champion Obafemi.
Oh.
Obafemi wins the Intercontinental title from John Cena at War Games.
Okay.
DC, John Cena, Rated R Superstar Edge. John wins his final match. And if it can't be Edge for some reason, I'm going to take the real lackluster role here. Give me the final story of John Cena versus The Miz.
Okay.
I want him to win his last match. I'm sick of you got to go out on your back. You got to lose the last one. If there's a guy who should win the last one, it's Big Match John. You put over the up-and-coming megastar. You give Obafemi the Intercontinental title by beating John Cena in his first match on the main roster. I went off the beaten path.
Has he wrestled Orton on this run?
Yes.
Okay.
Shortly after WrestleMania. When he was a heel and Randy was a face. I believe it was Backlash St. Louis. I will look it up just to double check, but I'm 90% sure it was Orton. John Cena. Maybe he could fight
Santino.
just so we can get the John Cena.
I
watch that video every time it pops up and I laugh my ass off.
Brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. John Cena.
Oh, John Cena. All right, so in the Cena retirement tour, it was the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. He beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. He beat Randy Orton at Backlash 2025 in St. Louis. R-Truth at Night of Champions. Lost the tag match with Logan Paul at Money in the Bank. Lost to R-Truth via DQ at Friday Night SmackDown. Beat CM Punk at Night of Champions. Lost the title to Cody. Teamed with Cody to beat McIntyre and Logan Paul. Backdoor, that's somebody who I think could be the final opponent if John's going to lose the last match. Drew McIntyre would make a lot of sense. He then beat Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. The no contest against Sami Zayn that Brock Lesnar got involved with. Lost to Brock Lesnar. Beat AJ Styles.
Gotcha.
You know what? You have a big mouth, John Cena, and there's nothing I would like more for Christmas than a chance to shot it. You know what?
John Cena.
So just off the top of my head, I go the Boston deal. You win the Intercontinental title from Dom. MSG, you do a open challenge Chris Jericho's dad played for the New York Rangers.
That's a good one.
Chris Jericho comes in, and The Miz interferes.
Arguably one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time, too.
Correct. I mean, I think he had the most wins until the guy who's interfering in the match, The Miz, gets involved. So it's a draw. So Jericho doesn't have to eat a pin, but Jericho doesn't just come back in and win the Intercontinental title right away. So then at War Games, you get Cena versus The Miz. Miz wins the Intercontinental title. Miz needs something to do. Miz is Intercontinental champion's always good for business.
Mm-hmm.
And then DC versus Edge. Close it out. And he wins. Yeah, he wins. Here's the thing. And the only reason I said earlier, like, I'd like to, if it's not going to be a legend spot, like, to me, it's Triple H goes to John and says, what do you want to do on your last match? And if John says, I want to put somebody over, I want to go out, I want to, you know, I had so much respect for, you know, Eddie Guerrero, and I have so much respect for Rey Mysterio. I want Dom to have this spot. Like, this guy's going to be carrying the WWE for the next decade. Have him beat me, and then go on to win the Rumble and win the world title. Like, this could be the launch of the year of Dom. And it starts in December. So, like, I feel like this event is practically gonna kick off the road to WrestleMania. Really, it's just gonna have that big moment feel. But, like, so yeah, I think do that. But if John wants to win, you give him that call, and then you get a legend. You get somebody that can eat the pin.
As long as it's not Brock Lesnar.
Well, you also have Brock. You still have that out there, because I know that's what everybody's clamoring for after WrestlePalooza. Give me John versus Brock one more time. I saw people like speculating of how the last match or how the last show should be, and I thought somebody I saw. I wish I would have saved the tweet, but somebody was like, basically, like, the show should be like half just you know, montages and compilations and people you know, talking about and then he gets to give a retirement speech, and then he gets to have the match. Like there should only, like, I've seen people like saying there should only be like one match on the card, which is the deal. Like, the way that show goes down, I could see it only being like a 2-match card. You got a lot, like, one like warm-upper, you do a lot of gaga about Cena's career, and then you close it out.
As someone who's contemplating spending $350 on tickets and $100 to fly to DC, I would appreciate at least 3 or 4 matches to get my money worth.
I'm very curious to see how, because now that they're not on NBC as well, I wonder if they're going to be constrained to the 2 hours as
Somebody
well.
made that comment on the TikTok.
So I'm curious to see how the whole thing gets put together, but I hope that they really do John a service. It's also going to kind of be a precursor to what we may see out of the AJ Styles retirement tour in 2026. So my
heart's not ready for that one either.
Oh my God, dude, Little Spoon, man. Just that one's probably going to hurt me big time because obviously been a big part of my wrestling fandom over the last 20 years. So
so let's figure out whenever they're somewhere close, flying up for a date.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna go see Little Spoon.
That, like, I'm gonna try to make calls and connections and whatever. My hope is, because, like, obviously for me, but my mom absolutely adored when he was here, and has literally been like, I hope we get to meet him again someday, and blah. Like, I've honestly just thought about straight up just like writing him like a letter and sending it to, I think the their fan correspondence goes through like the performance center or
Mhm.
something. And just be like, look, man, like, because I know I do know for a fact he remembers, because the one time when he was on Twitch, I had left I left a comment, and I was like, hey, do you remember when like you stayed in Pennsylvania with the CWF, and you stayed at our house and whatever? And he goes, yeah, dude. He goes, that was some of the most fun times of my career. So I know he remembers
Mhm.
this. So like I'd love to try to make a connection there in his final year, because like I really did, and I was so bummed out at the WrestleMania in Philly that his signing day was the day before I came down,
Mhm.
because I was gonna get the printout of the picture of me and him in my church parking lot,
Yeah.
fucking junior year of high school, uh, uh, going into my senior year of high school, and it was me and him, and I would have loved to have just shown up and put that in front of him and have him just be like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, it's wild that these two guys are coming up on the end here. So all right, let's do Wrestle Dream. Let's power through all 12 current matches that are on the card.
All 47.
4 of them are on the buy-in. We will start with FTR versus Jet Speed in a tag team match. Mike,
I will not take known foot pervert Speed Bam Mike Bailey. So give me anti-foot pervert TR.
my man, yeah, FTR, get the fuck out of here, you fucking foot pervert, Mike Bailey, speed bags. Eddie Kingston and the Hooker Man versus a team we don't even know who it is yet.
I'll take Warhookin.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale versus the Divine Vanity of Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. A very respectful match, if you will.
When the fuck did they make that their tag team name?
Mike, I'm not
What the fuck is going on?
not a clue. Not a clue. You could have told me Divine Vanity, and I couldn't have picked out two.
Buddy, you said Divine Vanity on the 3CT show, and I immediately went, who the fuck is that? Until you said their names. That being said, I'll take Harley Cameron and Willow.
You know what? We've crapped on their name. I'll take Divine Vanity. I'll show him some love. Roderick Strong and the Conglomeration in an 8-man tag against the Death Riders.
Fuck him. Fuck his shitty little boots.
Stupid little boots.
I just don't know how you could let the Death Riders lose, especially if they're going to play a pivotal role in what happens later in the evening. I'll take the Deathmobile.
Yeah, it certainly makes the most sense. Tornado Trios match, the Hurt Syndicate taking on the Demand.
I demand that they come up with a better fucking name for this group.
Stupid name.
We hurt people.
Yeah, Hurt Syndicate. And another respectful match, Jamie Hayter versus Tekla.
Are the other two members of the Triangle of Madness going to be out there? Because if so,
I hope so.
Sky Blue.
Sky Blue.
That being said, Hater gonna hate.
Yeah, I like Jamie Hayter. I think
Hater is gonna be the one that takes the TBS title from 36 belt Monet. So we got to get her going. And
so. Get her cooking, man. It's been far too long.
Mm-hmm.
Tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team titles: Bro Dito versus the Callis family of Okada and Takeshita.
You already know my answer. I said it earlier when we were talking about the IWGP title. Okada turns on Takeshita to set up that inevitable title match. So give me the tag team champions to retain.
I think you're right, but just so we don't agree on every match, I will take the Callis family. Singles match, and I felt dirty saying that. Singles match for the AEW TNT title: Kyle Fletcher versus the Mark Briscoe.
This is going to hurt. At friend of the show, at Not the Tool Man. Happy birthday, Tim. Give me Mark Briscoe to win the TNT title.
Ooh. Okay.
What do we we're coming up close to around the time that we unfortunately, we're within a couple months of the anniversary of Jay's untimely passing.
Oh shit, that's a good point.
Some positive for him right now. Kyle Fletcher's going to go on to bigger and better things. I think he's inevitably going to get himself in the world title picture again. You gotta make him a serious title contender. He can't be carrying around a second tier title.
Good point. It's a real good point. Yeah, I didn't really think about that we're coming up on the anniversary. But I think Fletcher probably does retain, so I will keep it on Fletch. The tag team match where the winners receive a $500,000 prize, the Jurassic Express of generic jackass Perry and the Luchasaurus taking on the Young Fucks.
Let me know when that match comes on so I can take a break.
Yeah, I'm already taking my break.
Somebody said that, what if this is just the big old swerve and generic Jack turns on the Luchasaurus again and realigns himself with the fucking Young Bucks? And I said, that would be the worst thing I've ever seen. That would literally make me want to throw up. It would almost make me want to boycott the show as much as Hangman not winning the title at All In if that would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, I'm not going to change my pick now. I said it on 3CT. I'll use the same name I used for them in the chat there. Give me the old jerkin dinosaur.
Yeah, look, it would make such poor decisions to unite them just to break them apart again real quick.
The sad Young Bucks ripping off Sad Corbin needs to continue for at least a little bit longer.
Well, that too. So I will go with the Jurassic Express. Singles match, the AEW Women's World Title, Statlander defending against Timeless Toni Storm.
We've seen the character work of Toni Storm. Now we need to see, when everything gets ripped away from her, what can she do with the character needing to rebuild? That has to mean that Chris Statlander retains. So give me Stat Daddy.
Yeah. I think it's more than enough time has passed that Timeless Toni Storm needs to spend some time away from this title. So let's get her out of there. Statlander retains and see what Toni does from here. Two more singles match, AEW World Title, Hangman Adam Page versus the Samoan named Joe.
Cowboy shit.
I said it on 3CT. I will say it here. Hangman likely does retain, but I picked up Samoa Joe to try to make a power move in the fantasy, so I have to pick Samoa Joe to win here.
Remember the last time that Samoa Joe was randomly in an AEW World Title match on a pay-per-view that everyone thought he was going to lose?
Just saying. And then lastly, the I Quit match, Darby Allin versus Gian Moxley.
So I've gone back and forth since the end of 3CT because I did say Darby via flamethrower or Molotov cocktail, either one, whichever one you prefer. Whatever your arsenal of choices.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about it. What if this is a new member of the Death Riders is going to emerge? What if this is Daniel Garcia showing that he was a red herring? It was never really part of the Death Riders. He was used to gain intel on how Jon Moxley would try to beat Darby Allin. So I'm on both sides of the fence here. Jon Moxley's been probably in need of a vacation since 2019, or since Jack Perry decided to do dumb shit with real glass. That being said, Darby took his vacation to climb Kilimanjaro or whatever the fuck he did, or the aggro crag from Guts, while being chased by the guards from the Legends of the Hidden Temple or something. That being said, Darby wins, but John doesn't say I quit.
Okay.
I think it's not the Death Riders that stops the match.
Okay.
I think it's Renee.
Oh, that's a fun little twist.
I think the Death Riders will understand the assignment of Jon Moxley will not say the words "I quit" no matter what. I think they will not allow Garcia or Shafir to, quote, throw in the towel, to not quit for Jon. And inevitably, I think it's Renee. And Renee is the reason why the match finally ends.
Okay. I like that. I do like that. I think so. I asked the question on 3CT, and none of us really knew the answer.
Mhm.
That what if one or both of the competitors
Die.
becomes, well, I won't say die, but becomes incapacitated, actually becomes unconscious for like 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Like, I know they didn't say I quit, but at some point
To stop murder from occurring, you have
right,
to
like the
stop
match
the
is
match.
over. I think
We did see a no contest in a Hell in the Cell, so I don't necessarily know that you can say that a match can't end via ref discretion.
Right. And I think we're gonna find out the answer. And I think Darby All In is the one that becomes unconscious. And it's a referee stoppage. Jon Moxley's officially the winner, but neither person says I quit. Yeah. I just don't see how either of these guys, regardless of how it's done.
Literally, in the segment, in the backstage segment they had, literally Mox goes, "You're never gonna say the words I quit. I'm never gonna say the words I quit." Like, we've reached an impasse.
Right. Kind of defeats the purpose of the match. But yeah, that's Saturday night from the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis, Missouri. Beautiful this time of year. So
where is that? Is that the campus of like the University of St. Louis?
It might be. Let's see.
The Cuyahoga fucking Riverboat Center.
The address is 1 South Compton Avenue in St. Louis. It is the arena for the St. Louis University campus.
Sick. We were right.
I think they've done shows there. Apparently WWE held its first show there in July 21st, 2018.
Cool.
AEW held AEW Rampage there on the November 5th, 2021. Collision was there in January of 2024. April 21st, 2024, AEW Dynasty was held there. And they will have Wrestle Dream. So they've been there not only for TV, but for papes as well. So yeah, right there on the St. Louis University campus. Looks to be probably one of the safer areas of St. Louis. So
I mean, but the thing is on Compton Road. I don't know how safe we are.
Well, about fixing to find out, aren't we? All right, want to do a quick wrestlers of the week, even though we've missed a month away.
So what I was thinking, because we have 2 weeks of September, there's 2 weeks left in October. We'll do the top 15 as a September-October mashup.
Boom. I love to hear that.
Excellent. Yeah, so Joe doesn't get picks because he ain't here. So we'll each take 3. Jim, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, why don't we start with the new TNA champion, Mike Santana.
Santana. New TNA champ. I'm going to go with Konosuke Takeshita, new IWGP champion.
Go with as ugly of a match as it may have been, the Hardys retain their NXT and TNA tag team titles,
and they technically won the TNA the NXT titles that same week.
Oh, sure did. So yeah, it's a double. It's a double win. They won and then retained the both belts.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with the inspiration. Since we've recorded last, Cassie and Jesse won the tag titles.
So respectful.
All right, last one.
Last one, I will go with Seth Rollins. He defeated Cody Rhodes to win the Crown Jewel Championship. Obviously, some speculation about the health of Seth Rollins coming out of that. And here's the thing, folks. I know, I know that seems pretty dark at the moment, but we literally just ran an angle where everybody thought Rollins was dead to rights and cashed in his Money in the Bank. So
let's wait till we get some news from some of those imagings before we.
The beauty
bury
is we won't know until we know.
Yeah.
We won't know. Here's the thing. We won't know until we actually see like footage of him being wheeled into surgery.
I was going to say that the giveaway will be if they take the title off of him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think if they strip him of the title prior to the surgery and he comes out or he comes out and says, "Hey, it's done. It's shot. We're going to go fix it. Here's the title. I'm out."
Mm-hmm.
I think then you have your real like selling.
As they would say, dead giveaway.
Yeah. Dead giveaway. My last one, because he won the NXT title during our sabbatical, give me Ricky Saints.
Nice. The Saints man.
So that is the wrestlers of the week since we've been on hiatus. We will have a show next week. I will prompt Joe the question that I prompted you.
Nice.
So that he can give us his final 4 John Cena appearances. Maybe we'll start talking the AJ Styles retirement tour on next week's show. Jim, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter and Blue Sky. Hit my link tree there. It'll take you to Huddle Up Podcast. We're firing away on all cylinders. We've been about 8 weeks deep into that show now. So we have clips every day on our social media. So grab them over there and check that out. 3CT, 3 Count Thursday. We took some time off as well on that side. Life got pretty busy. We had some archive content on the podcast feed. But we had the new stuff last week, new stuff this week. A fucking wild one coming up this upcoming Tuesday. So make sure you go over there, hit a subscribe, grab us on YouTube. Everything goes up there. And I would certainly appreciate the support on that side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow us here on the Twitter sphere at Take3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Bird. Inevitably, I'm going to get back to doing my South Florida baseball podcast. I've just kind of been stuck in a rut where I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off the last month or so. But breaking news, we're going to Disney the same week that Jim is. Carol's booking the room probably later this week. So we'll probably be there for most of the time you guys are there. Maybe a little less because we live close enough that I could drive. So, yeah.
Shocking development. I did not see that coming.
Shocking development. Probably going to end up playing golf at a different course this time. So
shocking. Totally shocking.
Until then, for Joe, for Jim, I'm Mike. We'll be back next week with more wrestling talk right here on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.